That's right. Jerry Rice and company. 2 more touchdown catches for Rice yesterday. 49ers Browns a week from tonight. Here Dallas kicks off. Washington leads 21-13, and it's a bouncer at the 10. And Bryant, he's in the field of play. He's in the field of play.
What in the world?
The ball, it doesn't matter where his feet, the ball was in the field of play.
Well, it won't be a safety. They'll mark it right there, but Brian Mitchell, that's hard to believe.
Yeah.
Yep, he didn't know where he was, or didn't know the rule, or whatever.
He got knocked back into the end zone, but forward progress, which is where they'll rule he was down, going to spot the ball at about the half-yard line.
Ken Gant knew where he was. He zeroed in from about 30 yards out and really unloaded on Mitchell.
Well, you'd think Mitchell would have figured it out when there was no whistle.
The ball was dead in the field of play.
Yeah, he downed it.
The man was down by contact. It's first down.
Yeah. You know, Brian, when you took a knee and didn't hear somebody start blowing whistles, that'd be a pretty good indication to get back up again.
He's got 1 foot. He puts it back into the end zone. The ball, though, has not crossed the plane.
He never
it's
looked.
Alive right there. Right now, he begins to sense a little urgency.
He never looked. You could see he never took his eyes off of looking upfield.
You know, Gant even pulled up a little bit on it, and he realized and unloaded on Mitchell.
Oh, boy. What a break.
Well, they tie Tony Dorsett's record for the longest run. Middleton.
That would have been 99
You bet.
and a half.
And a half. By a horse and a half.
Well, that was a bit of bad luck the Redskins didn't need, trying to protect the lead.
They get some breathing room on the pass to Middleton. It is 2nd down and 6 up at the 5-yard line. Art Monk, bottom of the screen. He hasn't caught a pass tonight.
He's got quite a consecutive game streak going.
This is Mitchell trying to fight his way for a first down, and he should have it up at the 12-yard line. And it was Art Monk who led the way with a block. He has a 148-game consecutive game pass catching streak. Hasn't caught one tonight, but throws a block here.
What he did there was better than catching a pass. He threw a darn good block that gave the Redskins a first down. Watch this from the right side of your screen. Here come Art Monk. He gets the block on Kenny Gant and just buries him. He plants Gant, puts him down on the ground, and that's something that a lot of wide receivers don't do well is block.
First and 10 at the 13-yard line as Rippon swings one out to Ernest Biner. He gets by Dixon Edwards and takes it up to the 20-yard line. Pickup of close to 8. Stopped by Darren Woodson. Ernest Biner has now spent almost as much time in a Washington uniform as he did with Cleveland. He played 5 years at Cleveland in his 5th year now with the Redskins, and a different role for him this year. Fullback, blocker, and a pass catcher.
Just a versatility this year. He's playing, can be the H-back, and could be used in that role tonight, but he was traded even up for a running back named Mike Oliphant. Long gone from this game, and meanwhile Biner came close to 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, missing by 2 yards a year ago for the Redskins.
2nd and a short 3. And Mitchell picks up a long 3, short 4, and that's a first down. So from their own 1-yard line, the Redskins have given themselves a good bit of breathing room now with under 5 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter, and the Redskins leading 21-13.
Well, this is where it's tough, but the Redskins can get that out after that bonehead by Mitchell. And they have been knocking and slugging their way out from the shadow of their own goalpost. Could make a very definite impression on the rest of this game.
Wait till Brian gets home and finds out that was a bonehead play.
Well, he knows it. I mean,
if the Redskins don't score, if they don't go any farther, this has already been a successful drive.
Here's Reggie Brooks. Picks up 3, takes it to the 27-yard line.
If they don't even get another first down and have to punt the ball away, this has already been one of the most successful drives the Redskins have had all day, getting it out beyond the 20-yard line.
I thought I said that. Didn't I?
No, I don't think so.
They have been dominating, as we mentioned earlier, the #1 defense against the run from last year. Richie Pettibone's type of football.
Here is Ernest Biner seeking that first down and coming up a little short, and it's going to set up a 3rd and about 2 as Dixon Edwards runs him out of bounds.
Another roll for Biner. as a pass receiver coming out of the backfield.
Good hands. Biner very flattered that he was appointed by Richie Pettibone to be one of the offensive captains of this football team. And not having played his entire career with the Redskins, thought that was quite an honor. Very proud of it.
3rd down and 2 for the Redskins at their own 32-yard line. Middleton goes in motion. A short little roll and a flip to Biner. And another big first down.
Get out the shovel.
A little shovel pass. Todd Dowhour is calling a terrific game from up above, and Ken Norton now is down, clutching the left knee. Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman, MVPs, of course, for the Dallas Cowboys a year ago, but defensively, there's no question who was the star of that defensive unit, Ken Norton.
This is a classic shovel. A fake gets all the Cowboy defensive linemen up past the ball. Then the scoop pass up, and now all Dallas's eyes are on Ken Norton. And there's some good news right there. A linebacker whose activity, you know, he reminds me of is Wilbur Marshall. That type of player who always seems to be around the football sideline to sideline. You know, they're physically similar in size. This is a quality football player, Kenny Norton. There he is on the left-hand side, number 51. Oh, and he gets leg whipped. Yep. I think, is that 64, Eloanibi? Takes him down.
I think you have to hope that's a bruise, too, and it could well be that. He did not have the leg planted.
Son of the former heavyweight champion, attended to on the sideline, 43-yard line. Darren Smith, a rookie from Miami, number 59, comes in for Norton. And Rippon flips one out to Ricky Sanders. And he's up to the 49-yard line. Kevin Smith making the hit. Under 3 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Redskins will remain here and play Phoenix on Sunday. And for Dallas, still minus Emmitt Smith, they go home and open up their home schedule on Sunday against the Buffalo Bills. Super Bowl rematch. Rippon first half 50%, this half 100%. Hasn't missed. All shorties. There's another shorty. Enough for a first down. Middleton,
which longtime Redskin observers realize is a huge change from the way they used to throw the football. The Redskins in many ways were reminiscent of the Raiders in constantly going downfield with a big strike. And remember how they opened up the game with a long pass? They tried to get a long completion down the sideline, didn't get it. And since then, it's been short stuff on both sidelines and in the middle.
And is well advised against the Dallas defense. There's a little short one, a good read by Rippon, but Dallas likes to play that soft zone, and they will give you 4, 5, 6, 8 yards. You try to go deep on them, and they'll pick it off.
First down at the 45. Middleton, another shorty, bumped out of bounds by Darren Smith, and Mark Rippon has now completed 11 straight. His last pass in the first half, and 10 in a row in the second. 1:30 to go in the third.
What defensive coaches will tell you, though, is that you're not going to complete a dozen 5-yard and 6-yard passes without somebody getting hit hard enough to cough up the ball. That's the defensive strategy.
That's
that we'll
part
give
of that
you.
philosophy.
That's
You're
right. That we'll give you that soft one, but we're going to come up and pepper you after you catch it, and you're going to cough it up. The ball's going to be on the field.
Or you're going to throw the tipped interception.
Right.
Something will happen. You just have a hard time moving a length of field, 5 and 6 yarding it.
2nd and 9, and the play clock was at 0, but they did get it off. And it's Art Monk extending the streak and taking it to the 15 on the 848th reception of his career. No one's caught more.
Oh, they love it here.
Well, he's probably the most beloved of all these Redskin players. And listen, this is a standing ovation for Art Monk.
They are well aware that Richie Pettibone called him in before the season and told him he had slowed the speed, had lost his step, and he probably would not be that third wide receiver. He came back in camp, worked every day, and came in camp perhaps in the best shape of his career.
149 consecutive games. He's caught a pass, and here's another Rippon completion. This one, no. There's Well, they're saying yes, a completion, and he is down. Is James Jenkins, tight end, making his first catch. Well, Jerry Markwright coming over and saying, wait a second.
Incomplete. Incompleted pass.
Okay.
Well, that was a fake out when he pointed to the ground. Normally that's a sign that the ball is down at that spot. Let's see if we can get an eyeball on this and see if it's a good call.
He was not controlling it. Crowd doesn't like it. They see the replay also. But it was ruled he was not controlling the ball when it hit the ground.
Well, that's what it was ruled. That one was mighty close.
And with 11 seconds to go in the third, Washington takes a timeout. Norton with that sprained knee, and he's trying to work it out, and he's going to try to return, is the report. James Washington, who was shaken up earlier, will not return the safety. This drive started at the Washington 1-yard line. They're at the Dallas 15. It is 2nd down and 10 in the waning seconds of the third quarter. They pick up the blitz, and it is caught by Art Monk. Touchdown.
And once again, Griffin read the blitz. It's not difficult to read the blitz against Dallas at all. Got the one-on-one. Good call by Rippon. Once again, the automatic. And the Dallas Cowboy blitz is so obvious.
Well, I think this version of Hail to the Redskins will be for you, Art. This song's for you. Well executed, as Frank said. And that, I'll say it again, was a great drive.
99 yards and a half.
It's called a higher.
6 seconds to go in the third. Art Monk and a Washington 28. Dallas 13.
Think Brian Mitchell's happy?
RFK Stadium rocking and rolling. 2 long touchdown marches for the Skins here in the third quarter. This last one 99 yards. The first one 78 yards. They lead by 15. Lohmiller's kick, what will be the final play of the third quarter, is accepted at the 8-yard line by the rookie Williams, and he brings it back out to the 35, and that's where Dallas will begin the fourth quarter. Lohmiller making the tackle. End of 3. Washington 28, Dallas 13. Back we come to the fourth quarter on Monday Night Football after this from our ABC stations. Jim Hannafin, a very happy man, the offensive line coach. His charges doing the job tonight.
There is nothing that makes an offensive player or their coaching staff prouder than a drive of that length. That's what it's about. That's it.
Fourth quarter begins. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf in Washington, and Dallas from the 35-yard line begins with a pass by Aikman into the arms of Michael Irvin and a first down.
I think they concentrated so much on Michael Irvin.
Well,
that Al Hoffman
the story, if it remains this way in Washington, will be successful debut for the Pettibone era. In Dallas, no matter what happens, they're going to talk about Emmitt Smith. And not that Lassick hasn't done the job tonight. We talked about Emmitt before. We looked at it from his perspective. It's been an ongoing situation. Jerry Jones, the team owner, says, I have to look at the whole situation. I have to look at the imminent salary cap next year. I just can't pay him what he wants. From the 47-yard line, Aikman on first down. Pump fakes, going deep, a little too deep. Irvin got a step on the safety, Brad Edwards. Second down.
Is that the situation now with the bargaining agreement? The management side of football has become almost as important as the coaching side of it. If that salary cap kicks in, what, a 31, 32 million a year from now? I mean, you want to save your best ball players, you want to keep your best ball players, but you've got to get good enough ball players, and there is Jerry Jones standing there on the left side with the tie. But you have got to keep good enough ball players to keep your good ball players healthy. And it's a very tricky situation that's going to happen next year.
Second down and 10 from the 47-yard line. Aikman, deep drop, good protection, and no good. Irvin can't make the catch.
Well, Frank, you alluded to the collective bargaining agreement, and it is really what is holding Emmitt Smith hostage. He's, you know, that franchise player designation that he can be held under means that he gets an average of the top 5 running backs in the game. And if you're an exceptional player like Emmitt Smith, he wants to be paid commensurate with the top 5 or 10 players in the game. And of course, those are all quarterbacks, and that's the bone of contention. Jerry Jones doesn't have to pay him that kind of money.
Third down and 10 at the 48-yard line. Aikman underneath, that's Novacek. The tight end makes the catch, struggles for a first, but doesn't get it. He's 2 yards shy. It's 4th and 2. And Johnson, down by 15, is just about compelled to go for it here. 4th and 2. Just the update on the Smith negotiation situation. Jerry Jones said before the game he talked to Smith's agent, Richard Howell, for 30 to 40 minutes today. No progress. Does plan to talk to him again tomorrow.
4th and 2. You don't have an Emmitt Smith. Maybe you wouldn't give it to him in this spot, but certainly play action would be affected by it.
Well, Noga may have given him a big break, the ex-Viking, and Aikman says, what are you doing?
That's just frustration on the part of Nogas. He tried to time out the count, guessed with it, he missed it. Unless he was drawn off, and now there is quite a discussion.
Encroachment foul, number 72, defense. 5-yard penalty and a first down.
That's a gift-wrapped first down. Anyway, we can take a look at it here. It's clear that Noga, anticipating the snap, comes across. We mentioned before, the one thing that Emmitt Smith is very upset about is that he thought he had an agreement with Jones. It wasn't going to be publicly negotiated. And Jerry has talked to everybody about it.
The Bonehead Trophy, by the way, just got passed from Mitchell to Noga.
Here's Lassick going nowhere. 2nd and 11.
Yeah, but his teammates, Mitchell's teammates, bailed him out on a 99-yard drive that going back to it could really change a season. More than anything, under a new head coach, Richie Pettibone, under new play calling management on the part of Rod Dower, this football team is going to believe in what they just did. And it can make a big difference in a team for the entire season.
Well, Noga needs his teammates to bail him out, too. Giving Dallas a first down on a 4th down situation.
2nd and 11 from the 41-yard line. Aikman, and Irvin can't make the catch. It may have been tipped. It's incomplete.
Oh, I think he just missed it. He was thinking sidelines, probably concentrating on his feet. Aikman delivered it beautifully. I don't think anyone throws that sideline pass better than he does right now. Big and strong. He just whips it, flicks it. Yeah, I guess it was a tip.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Monty Coleman came close. I couldn't tell if he touched it or not.
3rd down and 11 at the 41. 12:41 to play, 4th quarter. Redskins by 15. Oh, off the fingertips of Irvin. Tough catch. He had to stretch out across the middle in between Copeland and Edwards. 4th down.
With pressure on Troy Aikman, he had to deliver it. He was off balance. He took a tremendous shot when he did. It was a ball that could have been caught. A difficult catch. Michael Irvin has made more difficult ones. But Aikman had to let it go here on the break. And down he goes.
So 4th down and 11 at the 41-yard line. Jet comes in to punt. Brian Mitchell standing at the 10-yard line. Mitchell's going to let it go, and the Cowboys are going to be able to down it inside the 5-yard line. It is down there by Mark Vanderbeek, picked up from Indianapolis on waivers last week. The Skins deep in their own territory with 12:27 to go. Stars and Stripes, the Goodyear blimp hovering above RFK, sold out RFK. 28-13 Redskins, and they start from their own 4-yard line. The last time they started from the 1, they went 99. Ken Norton is back in the game and makes the tackle on Brian Mitchell. So the Redskins, against a defense that was #1 in the league last year, last 3 possessions, they picked up the football at the Dallas 17 and went in, and then they went 78, and then they went 99.
There's Al Noga, who we will officially take back the bonehead trophy that we gave him for jumping offside. So both he and Brian Mitchell have been just temporary keepers of the hardware. But it still could be awarded again.
Ongoing award. Rippon throws a duck.
Well, that hit the ground.
Biner
Yeah, good call.
makes it a 1-hop catch in the 3rd down.
Rippon, not the most athletic of quarterbacks, was as much as anything concerned about getting out of the end zone and not giving up a safety.
And he had Tolbert after him again.
Mark tonight again after a good preseason. Last year, overweight, reported late, offensive line injuries, never got it going.
But I'll guarantee you, Al, that we've rarely ever seen Mark Rippon with 21 completions and only 147 yards.
What he's done so well is change the play at the line of scrimmage. He's doing it again right now.
Play clock down to 4, 3rd down and 7 on a left roll, looking back, throws cross grain into traffic, incomplete. Intended for the well-covered Sanders. Bill Bates on top of him, number 40.
He was born to hit, Bill Bates, coming off a knee problem of a year ago, and all-time leading tackler for the Cowboys. Most of it with the head. He is one tough critter.
Do we put him on the all-Deardorff team? What do you think?
Well, well, we don't have one of those.
Oh, okay.
Say this about Bill Bates, though. When he moves on, it almost seems as if that last link to the old Dallas Cowboys goes with him.
Goodberry with a low liner, and it's a short kick. And the Cowboys let it go, and the Redskins get a nice roll out of it. Turns out to be a 49-yard kick.
Yeah.
Kelly was happy with that roll.
Yeah, that got better looking in a hurry.
In the shadow of the Capitol yesterday, the NFL experienced a movable park. They set one up at the Rose Bowl last year during the Super Bowl. They have a display here.
Pretty good arm.
Along the mall, and kids could come out, get the feeling of playing football. There was Paul Tagliabue, the commissioner, with Jerry Jones, taking part in all of the festivities on a beautiful Sunday in D.C. And it's a beautiful Monday night if you're a Redskin fan, because they lead 28-13. Dallas 1st and 10 from the 44-yard line. Derek Lassick takes it out to the 50. It's a pickup of 6. Redskins are contending that it's theirs, but the official comes right in to say he was down by contact. Jimmy Johnson turned 50 years old in July. 5th year. He is now the Dean of NFC East Division coaches.
Tell you about job security, won't it?
Yeah. Oklahoma State and then Miami won a national championship. First coach in history to win a national title and the Super Bowl.
Interesting guy.
And he can flat out coach. You cannot deny the fact that a Jimmy Johnson team is well prepared and well coached.
2nd and 4 from the 50. Aikman slings it out to Irvin. He makes the catch, and that's a first down at the Washington 37-yard line.
A.J. Johnson again locked up individual coverage. You got a little help on the inside, but he still lays off about 5, 6, 7 yards. Look how deep A.J. is playing. In the drive upfield, he has to turn the body, get ready for Irvin to go deep. That's when Irvin plants the left foot, breaks it to the outside.
Michael has caught 6 tonight, 70 yards from the 37-yard line. They originally picked up the blitz, and then Coleman comes in. No fumble, but a sack at the 48-yard line. Monty Coleman, near 15.
Grand old man filling in for Andre Collins, out with a knee injury, and there have been 15 superb years for Monty Coleman, who concentrated on, as much as any player I know, on keeping that body in shape. Worked so hard, and not so much a great play as just a missed time pass pattern downfield.
11th round draft choice in 1979. That's a pretty good pick.
Yeah.
2nd and 19. Aikman firing to the near side, and Michael Irvin makes the catch and then gets caught in a bumper car ride and takes it down to the 28-yard line.
Redskins are trying to help their cornerbacks by getting a linebacker out in front, and that time Monty Coleman slipped. Aikman was able to go to Irvin.
Great effort after the catch. He could have stayed on the ground. He could have stayed on the ground right here, but he gets up and he gets popped for it big time, but he's trying to pick up that first down. That's a great effort by Irvin. That's just a marvelous effort. That's why he's an all-pro.
It is 3rd down and 1. And through the middle goes Darrell Johnston to try to pick up that yard. Ball got loose, but it's still Dallas's ball again. And it appears as if he's got the first down.
It's like we had a diving Jerry Markwright coming in there at the last minute. There's a good shot of an official giving it everything he had.
Michael Irvin is paying tribute right there to Emmitt Smith, wearing Emmitt's number.
Michael is quoted as saying he has sore knees going into this game because he's been down on them every day praying that Emmitt Smith would sign and come to camp.
Pete Rozelle just called. He wants it taken off. 1st and 10.
Michael says, call Jim McMahon.
Right.
He's my agent.
Aikman scrambles for a first down, takes it to the 12-yard line. Well, Dallas trying to get back in it again, down by 15, and now also fighting the clock, because when you're down by 15 and you've got 8:15 to go, and when you're fighting the clock.
And when you look at it at this stage, too, you realize at this point in time how much that missed extra point hurts.
So that's quite a scramble by Aikman. Back surgery, 12 weeks ago? And he did not hesitate to go that extra couple of yards. He didn't hook slide. He got the first down.
14-yard pickup, first down from the 13-yard line. There's Parker, and he gets spun down by Johnson at the 8-yard line.
And you keep wondering why they don't help A.J. Johnson and Darrell Green on the corners. And again, it goes back to the threat of that tight end, Jay Novacek. You put a safety out on either one of them, Novacek is going to get the linebacker coverage, and he's the man that's going to be open.
Well, it's one of the reasons also, Frank, that we haven't seen a lot of Tom Carter, their #1 draft choice from Notre Dame, because he played primarily zone in college, and it's a lot of man-to-man if you're going to be a Redskin corner.
2nd and 5. Aikman guns one into the end zone, and A.J. Johnson breaks it up.
Super play by Johnson. Getting a good look at what a defensive back is all about. You're going to get beat in front of millions of people over and over, and then you come back and you know you've got to do it. You've got to be the guy. You got to make the great play, and that's what Johnson does right here. Irvin gets behind him, the diving leap and the deflection. You got to believe in yourself to play on that corner.
3rd and 5. Dallas at the Washington 8. Redskins lead 28-13. 7:15 to go. Draw. Derek Lassick just inside the 5. Doesn't have the first down. Kurt Gouveia gets the tackle. And Dallas will go to a 4th and 1 at the 4. And he's going to go for the field goal, or at least send the field goal unit out, because you're going to need at some point a field goal anyway. And he figures, I might as well take it here.
Get your 3 because you're going to have it.
Very smart play. Again, though, all of this is only necessary because of the missed extra point. If they went for it and scored a touchdown without that extra point being missing, it'd be a 28-21 ball game.
Elliott, 22-yard field goal attempt. That's good. And his next kick will be an onside kick, probably. 6:30 to go, regulation. 28-16. Washington. 6:30 to go, 4th quarter. Redskins lead 28-16. Washington anticipating an onside kick. They have 5 men up, but Elliott sends one out of bounds of all things. That's the last thing you're going to want to do in a situation like this, to give Washington the ball at the 35-yard line.
Guess what he gets?
I know what he's going to get.
The bonehead trophy.
Yeah. I mean, you're either going to kick it deep or you're going to onside kick it. You're not going to.
Free kick out of bounds. The ball is put in play on the 35-yard line by rule.
Jefferson
First down.
Memorial right there.
Great look by our crew here tonight, the best in the business. Craig Janoff, our director, Kenny Wolf, our producer. It's nice to be back in the saddle again.
Skins at the 35, trying to take some time off the clock. Keep it on the ground with Brian Mitchell. Works his way up to the 41. Washington tonight, 276 yards in total offense. One other point that we need to address here. Washington doing very well against the Dallas defense that hasn't had that many changes from last year. But keep in mind, Dave Wanstead was the defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys last season. Now the head coach at Chicago, Butch Davis, is the new coordinator.
And a lot of credit to that offensive line, too. Mo Elowanibi had a problem at the left tackle where he replaces Jim O'Shea early on. But he has settled down and doing a good job over there.
Sure has.
Here's Mitchell. And Brian is able to fight his way for a first down just past the 45-yard line.
This is just like an old book. You pick it up and read it every now and then. The Redskins grinding it out on the ground when they need to, picking up first downs here at RFK. Doesn't seem to matter very much if Joe Gibbs is a coach, if Richie Pettibone is the coach. And that guy is really the man responsible for it all, Jack Kent Cooke, who owns this franchise and is not afraid to spend a little money.
Oh, and he's got some deep pockets.
This club, one of the highest payrolls in the National Football League.
At the 46-yard line, Mitchell gets ridden down by Darren Woodson after a minimal gain. Under 5 minutes to play.
What you said, Dan, brings us back again to that salary cap that'll kick in next year almost inevitably.
Well, you hear figures of what that salary cap might be, and I think conservatively speaking, the 1993 edition of the Washington Redskins is at least 7, and it may be as high as $10 million over what the projected salary cap for next year would be.
That's going to have an enormous impact on the changing of personnel next year.
That's a lot of players.
Liner in motion, Brooks in the backfield, Reggie Brooks. And all they're trying to do here is take some time off the clock as he gets gang tackled. You know, it's a little bit of irony in Dallas when they open their home season next week. There's going to be a guy on the field who, as much as anyone else, created the Emmitt Smith situation, and that's Thurman Thomas, and his contract held up by Smith as the standard. Timeout, Dallas. Been a tremendous rivalry through the seasons.
Might be the most bitter rivalry in all of the National Football League, especially where the two communities are concerned. They go out of their way to express their total dislike of each other.
3rd down and 8 at the 48-yard line. Rippon hits Art Monk. 3rd catch of the game for the future Hall of Famer. The 850th of his career.
And the Cowboy defensive line, would you guys not agree, has shown a real inability to pressure Rippon tonight.
Particularly when they don't bring anybody in.
Yeah.
They so rely on the coverage. And Rippon has also been reading the defense so well. They bring Form in, and they do a great job. Rippon just stands there, steps up, finds Monk wide open for the 1st down.
Total double team that time between Elowanibi and Middleton on Haley, and just took him out of the picture entirely.
At the 38, 3:30 to go. Mitchell. This is one of those games where the regular season is an extension of preseason. The Redskins looked good. They were 3-1. The Cowboys didn't look good. They were 3-1. In fact, Jimmy Johnson last night said in preseason we were bored as hell. They won't be bored in practice this week. Timeout, Dallas. Don't often see long faces on that bench. Certainly not last year. 2nd and 4. Here's Brian Mitchell swinging to the outside. Inside the 30-yard line. We move the circus to Cleveland next week. About 75 to 80,000 should be there. Cleveland Stadium, hard by the lake, and the 49ers. They beat Pittsburgh yesterday, coming in to take on the Browns, coming off their win over Cincinnati. And we understand the 49ers losing Tom Rathman, a separated shoulder and out indefinitely. And Kevin Fagan strained knee ligaments out next week. Banged up San Francisco coming to Cleveland.
It's really not very often you get 2 undefeated teams meeting on Monday night.
Yes. Not after last year. Right. Mark Rippon in the 1st half, very pedestrian. In the 2nd half, very good. Short passes, but that 99-yard drive was just a backbreaker. But last time that the Dallas Cowboys played a full game without a sack would have been November of '91, so a year and a half against Washington.
I think what Rippon has done against the Cowboys defense so well is change the play at the line of scrimmage. I can't recall him in the past changing that frequently, particularly against Dallas. A very predictable, kind of a soft zone defense. They'll let you take the underneath stuff and then try and jar the ball loose. But Rippon has been so effective changing the play at the line of scrimmage.
After Dallas's final timeout, it's 3rd down and 1 Washington. They can cement it here with a 1st down. And Dallas Cowboys have other ideas as Brian Mitchell gets pushed back by a passel of Cowboys before he can get to the 28-yard line.
I don't think he got there. He's about half a yard short, it looks like.
Is Low Miller going to come on, or
Brian, you don't have a striped shirt on. Oh, he's wanting the crowd to urge Richie on to go for it on 4th down.
I think Richie will go for it.
Well, he's got one of the best field goal kickers in the league. If Low Miller comes in, it's a 46-yard attempt.
But one of the ways you could really get hurt if you were to get a field goal blocked, and that's a possibility. The worst thing that can happen is you don't get the 1st down, you just leave it down there.
He's got the luxury of knowing they need 2 touchdowns to take the lead.
4th down and that much. Jerry Jones. The one thing Jones said about the Smith thing, in addition, that we haven't reported, he said, I hope this doesn't polarize the team. Because clearly, the players are going to look at it one way and the management's going to look at it the other way.
Well, it's several things. Obviously, it's the loss of a talented football player, but it's also a distraction that every day, every player on the Cowboy team has to deal with. Someone from the press is wanting their reaction. Boy, now we are going to get ready for this team without Emmett. Now how are you going to play Buffalo without Emmett? Every day this goes on, and clearly it's a way a team can lose focus.
Second charge timeout. Redskins. This is the 42nd timeout.
What the Redskins did there is, since Dallas was out of timeouts, they simply let the play clock run all the way down to 1. In effect, it took another 24 seconds off the game clock, because it starts at 25 after a measurement, so you're down to 2:19.
And they already know what they're going to do. And it would appear that Richie Pettibone will go for it. Locks it up with the first down.
Richie Pettibone out of Louisiana. Great defensive back during his career.
48 interceptions, 4 Pro Bowls. I'll tell you, I played against him. You never came across the middle without keeping track of where he was. His safety.
All right, let's take a look at some news from the weekend. You know about Montana. Terrific yesterday. His pass rating, for what it's worth, 146, 11.7 yards per pass is, I don't have to tell you, fabulous. Marcus Allen, his new teammate, moved past Green Bay's great. Jim Taylor into 10th place. Boomer Esiason, 371 in a losing effort for the Jets against Denver. That's the most in NFL history by a player in his first game with a team, either through a trade or a pickup or as a rookie. Boomer Esiason, 371. 4th down, inches from the 29-yard line, and that'll wrap it up with a big exclamation point. Mitchell, touchdown.
So often happens on short yardage offense. You have every defender at the line of scrimmage. All you have to do is get the gap, and you'll get a big gainer. In this case, he got 6.
If that wasn't the same play that John Riggins burned Miami in the Super Bowl with, it's awful close. Sure looked like the same play.
I'll tell you, it was blocked out absolutely beautifully also.
And I think you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody in this city more delighted than Richie Pettibone.
A great block by number 67, Ray Brown.
Yep. Good for Richie.
Lohmiller for the point after. Meanwhile, when nobody's looking, Brian Mitchell has rushed for 116 yards tonight and 2 touchdowns.
Up to the right of your screen. 67, Ron Brown. Inside, gets a great block.
Look at that block there. Boy, good looking block by James Jenkins. And the one thing about the Dallas Cowboys on this game, you sure don't draw any conclusions about what's going to happen to them this season. I remember a Monday night game in the 5th week of the season last year where they got pasted pretty good by the Philadelphia Eagles, and that certainly was no barometer of how their season was going to turn out.
Well, meanwhile, Emmitt Smith may have led the league in rushing for the last 2 years, but that guy right now is leading the NFL in rushing in 1993. That's the best rushing game of any individual this weekend.
And that's the same guy that had the bonehead trophy a quarter and a half ago.
Gonna say, he trails the NFL in kickoff returns. And that is his specialty. One of the great return men in the league.
Only 2 players over 100 yards this weekend on the ground, Mitchell and Thurman Thomas. And Dallas gets Thomas next Sunday. So Lohmiller to kickoff, 35-16, Washington.
For the 2nd year in a row, the defending Super Bowl champion loses on a Monday night opener.
Touchback. This is the most points scored against Jimmy Johnson's team since his first year. 1989 Kansas City beat him 36-28.
If Jimmy's going to be sitting in row 4 on the way to Dallas, I'd try to find a seat in row 47.
Here comes the Princetonian, Jason Garrett, whose father has been a long-time scout for Dallas. Aikman is done for the night. Garrett is the number 2 quarterback. Remember, they signed Hugh Millen as protection when Aikman had the surgery. Millen was waived and brought back, and he's number 3. Garrett with 2:04 to go. They blitz him immediately, but he's able to avoid Mays, and the pass is underthrown to Lassiter. And that takes us to the 2-minute warning, which comes officially with 1:59. 35-16, Redskins. For those of you on the West Coast, you're going to see Day One, our news magazine following the game. There's a great profile on Jimmy Johnson. Those of you in Dallas will see it following Nightline. Those of you in the East and Central time zone, and many of you caught it before the game, but a most interesting look at a fascinating man, Jimmy Johnson, on Day One.
All tonight proves is that the Redskins are 1-0. and the Cowboys are 0-1. It does not make any statement about where either one of these teams are going, except they're both going to have winning years and they'll both be in the playoffs.
Garrett to Lassick.
These are two of the top 4 teams in the National Football League.
I mentioned a moment ago that Jason Garrett, the quarterback for the Cowboys now, is the son of Jim Garrett, this longtime scout, former teammate of mine. And Jason Garrett have really earned the job in training camp. They thought that Hugh Millen would be the backup, but he has played so well. There's Millen, New England starter for the last couple of years. Garrett just won the job.
3rd and 9. Garrett nearly gets sacked, runs into Newton, nearly coughs up the ball. Flag. Palmer does some celebrating.
Palmer back in the game. Remember, he left in the first period with a banged up leg.
It looked like a hyperextension too, and he's back.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on number 94. Hitting with the helmet, 15 yards, first down.
That's Bobby Wilson, their #1 draft choice back in '91, and that's a good call by the official. You cannot come in and hit someone prone on the field with your helmet as a weapon, and that's exactly what Wilson did right there.
Yeah, I announced it.
Jerry Markwright inadvertently leaving his field mic on.
Aikman tonight. Those are the types of numbers that normally win games for you, but not tonight. Not even close.
One of those receptions was for 80 yards for a touchdown on a Washington error.
Here comes the blitz.
Look out. Mays hit him from the backside.
You know, this is just the first time, and you know, the Cowboys could learn some lessons from the Redskins and the Steelers and the 49ers and teams like that, because the Dallas Cowboys have just played their first game as a defending world champion, which means every team they play is going to turn it up a notch. And speaking of notches, they are the notch that, you know, people would like to put in their gun handle, and this is going to go on all season long for this group, and they better get used to it.
Every stadium you go into,
yep,
they react differently to the champion coming in.
There goes Mays again. Kevin Williams gets a nice little greeting from Monty Coleman. 15-year veteran welcoming the rookie.
Mays
by hog-tying him.
Mays blitzed again, got picked off at the last minute. I think he probably thought he was going to have another shot at him.
Well, whenever you see a young quarterback, no matter the situation, you tend to blitz him to see how he's going to handle it.
There's a 9. The ball is loose. Nobody knows it's on the grass.
It's right between Nate Newton's legs, and he doesn't even know it, nor should he have known it.
There's Noga getting rid of his bonehead accolade.
Yeah, the bonehead, we already put it in the truck. It'll travel to Cleveland with us next week. That ball was in Garrett's hands. He just didn't keep it.
You blitz him 2 or 3 times. Got to be a little anxious coming off the bench. Not really a chance to warm up. So perhaps the tactic of blitzing the young quarterback has paid off.
There are the coaches who have made their debuts against Super Bowl champs. Joe Schmidt back in '67. Dan Reeves was a winner in his first game as the Bronco head coach against the Raiders. Hugh Campbell losing, and Richie Pettibone's going to win this one against the defending champs. Dallas does not have a timeout, so a couple of kneel downs will do it.
Proud of you, Richie. And waited a long time.
The Gibbs era is over, but they do not miss a beat. Richie Pettibone.
He said it's going to be fun.
15 years an assistant coach. I think only Jerry Burns waited longer to get his shot with the same team. He was with the Vikings for 18 years.
Well, he's known it all, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's played in the Super Bowl for the Washington Redskins back in '72.
Great
Part of the staff on the 4 other Super Bowls they were involved in. Passed over by so many teams and finally got the job he wanted.
Always the bridesmaid, but tonight he's the king. As the Redskins have whipped the Cowboys. And they've done it very convincingly. They've done it by 19. The old Hogs are here. They're celebrating. DC is celebrating. And Jimmy Johnson takes his team home. 0-1. Washington winning it on opening night at RFK. The final score 35-16. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorf talk to you from Cleveland next week. Good night from RFK Stadium in Washington.